Hello, everyone, and welcome to Maybe Muslim. I'm Mariam Heather, producer and host of the podcast, and I'm in conversation with Risana Rashid from Kasargod, Kerala, who, along with her twin sister Ramsina, became the first women in their community to clear the JEE Advanced, considered one of the toughest entrance exams to enter the Indian Institute of Technology. Do check out MBM's episode 27 if you haven't yet to learn more about their early educational years and journeys that I discuss with Ramsina. In this episode, Risana shares her coming of age story as a young woman, navigating priorities, lifestyle, and identity choices, simply keeping one goal in mind to build a life through academic achievement. After clearing IIT, Risana found herself in a new place, unlearning and learning aspects of herself, building a community, experiencing realities being perceived as a visible Muslim woman, especially coming from a non Hindi speaking background into a predominantly North Indian Hindi setting. As a Mapila Muslim, Risana also offers a window into her experience at IIT, how her OBC background was brought into spotlight through caste-oriented questions by other students, and the impact it had specifically on those coming from other reserved categories. While Risana shares her personal experience and coping mechanisms to wade through higher education in early career years, if you are a listener going through something similar, please do consider seeking professional counseling and support. Hey Risana, welcome to Maybe Muslim. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. What about you?
I'm okay. I have been speaking to Ramsina, and I want to make sure that in this conversation I do not call you Ramsina because I'm looking at you right now and I'm realizing that you both are identical twins almost, and it will be a challenge, but I'll do my best. I am very excited because I spoke to your sister a few weeks ago and she helped me learn so much about your journey and also the twin energy that you both have shared with me in one of your previous conversations. I want to go back to while Ramsina shared her experience growing up and kind of realizing that a lot of things you both wanted to do was to be rebellious individuals. I want to, Risana, hear from you. When you were growing up, where did that rebellious streak come from, and what did you see that the other girls were doing which you did not
Yes.
want to follow?
So this rebellious attitude actually came from the awareness. Okay, we were so much aware of what is happening outside just from within our family itself. So speaking of which, like around 6 years of age, we were seeing our mother, who was only 25 years of that time, were had like three children at that age, and also in that time itself we have adopted to a nuclear family system. So only even my father was working in he was initially a rickshaw driver, but because there was no much money he was able to make, he had to go abroad. He was working in Malaysia. Okay, so most of the time of the year he will not be there, he will not be around. So my mother had to take care of the three children along at that age, and also in a house alone. Okay, there it was a nuclear family, so even the house was not properly set up. There were no electricity. So my mother was dealing with a lot of issues that time, right? Handling three children is not a big easy thing. So we were aware from our family that okay, when the young girls are sent to any family after marriage and all, this is going to happen to us. Even within when we were 5 or 6 years old, we were aware of that. So from this awareness, we started to feel so rebellious against all these things. These are like injustice that is happening to the girls of that area, right? So of that village, or we can say in that community, this is happening. So we always felt it is not fair. It's not at all fair for them to have this kind of a life. Even we were not happy that our mother is dealing with a lot of things that time. We were very naughty kids. Okay, dealing with two of us itself is not a easy thing. And our we had a little sister as well. She was suffering from a chronic disease, and that disease was even not known. And within when she was like 4 years old, we lost her for that disease as well. So my mother was dealing, she had to take her to the hospital. Everything was like okay, she had some support from the family, but she was taking that load of mental trauma in that age. Okay, and when she lost the daughter at that age, it is again something she can't see. At this point of age, if we are a mother and we are having a child and she is having a chronic disease and we are losing her, how much of a mental trauma that she has to face, right? So all these things made us feel that we should be rebellious against everything that is happening to the women especially. And that's why we were rebellious in the sense we will never go to child marriages. There were child marriages happening there even now. Even within our relatives we see child marriage and we don't attend it. Why? That is the only single step, maybe a small step that we can do. Okay, when we are not going, their relatives will say that why, what kind of people are this, why they are not coming to their cousin's marriage, all those steps. But it's like the small awareness that we can give, like child marriage is not something you should treat as a happy thing or something. It's a, actually it is a deadly thing. Okay, it is a very bad thing. So that is the main reason we started to be rebellious against everything that was happening, which we were aware from that age itself. So yeah, that made us rebellious.
Thank you for sharing that, Risana. And I'm also grateful to you that you opened up something which I feel sometimes is also stigmatized a lot,
Yes.
especially when it comes to, women, and how if women rebel, if they try to make a stand for themselves, they will be called out for it. They will be not given the due respect that they must be given
Yes.
at such a young age. To have that sense of love and understanding for your parent, your mother, and making sure that in not falling or succumbing to that reality, you help your mom also feel comforted.
Yeah, yeah. Even our mother was also like she will always be conscious about whenever we are not doing something good or we are doing
Hmm.
bad. She will make us aware. See, I didn't study well, and you see my situation, right? She will make us aware, so that make us again feel, yeah, if we don't study well, that is going to be our situation. So even though her situation improved when our father's financial status improved later on, but she was always stuck to that she could not achieve most of her dreams. Okay, she was a very good she had that sportsmanship in during her school days. If she had invested in that, she might have been a national sports star or something, but she could never achieve that. Okay, even though she was not that good in studies, but she was good in extracurriculars. She has a very good leadership skills. She can be a very good social reformer as well. So she has a lot of talent, but she could not take it out because she was having other responsibilities. Like even like before 20 years ago, if you are having a children, you are a mother, your responsibility was to take care of the kids, not to go outside and be a social reformer. That was not expected from you, but now it's different. But from that point of time, she took all those teachings that she what she learned, and she always told us like, see, if you are not focusing on the good part of it, the productive part of it, you are going to end up this way. So be aware, be very aware of whatever decision you are taking. So that her conscious and continuous input was there. Even though she never told us like you should study well, she never told like that. You should not get, if we never got less marks, but she never had to say you should get good marks. She never said that way, you should study for this exam, never. But she put that awareness in our head that you should be doing this way, living this way, so that your life is going to be this way. You understand that? So that is a broad we can say broad teaching that she has given us. So that is also a big factor.
Yeah, and also it underlines that your mother, and Ramsina had also mentioned about you, your parents, kind of focusing on the
Yes.
values, that there was a need to be self-dependent
Yes.
financially, and it wasn't simply because you should have a sense of financial stability, but also self-awareness of who you are and what
Yes.
kind of person. And I feel hearing you speak as well, that's also what I'm gathering, that
Yes, yes. They always talk. Yes, that is completely true. They always focused on the values part of that, like what we are about, what is the virtue that we should be holding, all those things. They never talk about the specificity of that. You should be doing this for this. No, no. They never talk that way. They always talked in the broader perspective that made us even explore more about what it means and how to be like now, like even when we are completely financially independent or any such, even we have the even like we can at some point of time we can even get away with the job, but we will never, because that is the kind of virtue. Okay, we should be always productive and we should be actually contributing to the human resource of our country and all those stuffs, right? So those bigger things were actually put as a small step by our parents itself. So the values that you talked is the exact definition for that. Yeah.
Along with that, I think, Risana, you did mention that in our early chats that there was this part of this value upbringing, and there was also this choice that you both made of starting to wear the hijab at a young age. Your mother also wears the hijab,
Yes, yes.
right? But with even your relationship
Yes,
with hijab has gone through its own phases. Can you give me a bit of perspective that growing up,
yes, yes,
why did you choose
yes.
to wear it, and then how did that relationship change?
So from my early, like I was always looking out like how people used to wear hijab and all. So most of the time what I saw that even though people don't wear modestly, like they will be wearing for dress there is for the outfit that you choose there is a meaning of definition for modesty, right? Like it will be loose, it's not showing your figure, all those stuffs. But even so people had different two kinds of people I always notice. One kind of people are like they just wear the hijab, but otherwise they are not the dress, the outfit altogether is not modest, okay. But then there are people who actually choose more hijab for not in the definition of modesty, I will say saintly people, like people who actually wear some kind of, even I saw a lot of people who are like, see, I compare them to saints. Why, you know, like saints are always wearing dresses, like even Buddhist saints or somebody, when they are wearing the that saintly dresses, it does not attract anybody, like people who actually don't care about how people think about me for us. And saintly people are like, you wear very ugly, very unshaped hijabs every time, and people think, why are you like this? People feel weird seeing you, you see. Even during our coaching also we were like that. Even when you have the complete outfit like the suit set, you will be we are like we will be wearing a different shawl, different pant making it more and more weird. And that weird it comes in the sense that being more unattractive, like people don't consider that they are like good enough for being having good personality, because good I believe a good outfit actually resembles a good personality, one part of it. But at that point of time my thinking was in that sense, I should be always a saintly figure where good personality does not have any attachment to the good outfit. So that was the thing. So that is the reason why I always wanted to achieve a kind of a saintly figure, like people, okay, it will be unreasonable for people but very reasonable for me whatever I am choosing. So that was the main reason, that was what I associated hijab to, like, okay, you understand. Even my mother was she was always a hijabi woman, but she was not in that saintly sense. She was always keeping a good personality, okay. She will be wearing it when she goes to some marriage, she will be wearing sari, very twinkling bright saris, and she will be wearing matching hijabs and all those things. And we are like, oh, even she will be actually buying good dresses for us, like very glittery all things, but we will hide the glittery part of it. We will on top we will put a dupatta or something and hide the glittery part. So that was the weirdness that was within us. Why? That was mainly because we were associating that hijab to a saintly figure, you understand, right? Where there is nothing related to the worldly glitter or whatever it is. So that was the reason. But when I grow up, like when I went to college, I sat for interviews, and when we understood the importance of like formal outfit for the interview, and when we are wearing, actually for us it is compulsory that we should be going in the formal outfit for any interviews, okay, like white shirt, black panel. And that time we should you can't do, if you go, if you like, you can wear hijab, you wear proper matching hijab, and that should be decent. So that time I understood the importance of personality personality which comes along with the outfit as well. Then I came, there was nobody, like from the childhood maybe I was not listening to people, that can be a reason. Otherwise I was never having that idea that the personality comes along with the outfit as well. So at later point of time when I started sitting for interviews and all those stuff, then only I realized the importance of that. Then I again became more aware of what should I choose as a hijab and all those stuff. So that's how the my definition for the hijab and its practice changed when I grew up. So
And it's very important when you note that you had this, you
yeah.
and I think Ramsina as well perhaps had this, that you wanted not to be looking attractive, or you wanted to kind of have a very saintly, to
Yeah.
use your terms, a more
Yeah.
unappealing outlook towards what the people around you perceived you. I'm also curious because there must have been your cousins and girls your age who were they choosing to wear the hijab, and if they were, what was their reaction to your choice?
They always considered us very weird. Like we were all like growing up we were best friends, right, all these cousins. But at when we became like in teenage, they our cousins were wearing very pretty good, very decently, and they can't even consider us to be their friends anymore because we were wearing very weird even things like even our parents, their parents, they will buy same outfits for both of us, all of us, okay. And they will wear it very, they will put the chutti very very decently, all those things, and we will make it the most weirdest way possible. So at some point of time we had lost the friendship with all of these cousins. They we lost the association with connection with all of these people at some point of time. But now again when we are back to the normal state, they are actually, they are okay to talk with us, be friend with us, and they also make us remember, you remember what happened to you that time, like in those years what happened to you, why were you like that? So we don't have an answer right now, like perfectly speaking. We were saying yeah, we wanted to focus more on our productive part of it, so we had it to be like that. But it was not even, it is not even justified, right? People who wear decently, people who take their personality very proper, still they also achieve good things in life. It was just our paths were different, like we were having a very different path where there were no much people to guide us, so we chosen whatever we felt best for us. So maybe at some point of time some things were not a good choice. So yeah, and even we also even regret, like when I see the very early, like our 12th pics and all, right, and there we see other people are all, dressing very decently and we are dressing like very weird. And when I see that, even it feels very weird for me as well. I don't know what does it make sense, I don't understand.
But
So
I
yeah.
think all of us go through that phase. When I look back at my photos of my high school, I just wonder, like, what was that hairstyle? Like, why was I trying? Like, what was I trying to achieve with it? And it can be a little, just I don't understand why I was behaving like this. But like you said, it was your way of figuring out things. And what I'm gathering also, that in some ways that was also your instinct of rebelling against what were consistent norms within the society and within the age that you were in. And this takes me to this twin energy part, which I very briefly discussed with Ramsina, but I would
Yes.
like you to elaborate on, because you had each other. It just
Yes.
seems that you would have been able to pass through that time or years without feeling isolated.
Yes, yes. So everything we do. So talking about the twin energy, we had this a synergies chart or something. Like we had our own set of rules, okay, and all the anything that comes inside that rule will be reasonable. The main thing is that reasonable. If you want to dress pretty or something, it should be reasonable. There should be a reason associated. If there is no reason, no, it's rejected. So that is how it happened. And because we both were completely strictly following that rules, right, the set of rules, it was not written but it was understood to both of us, okay. So because we were already knowing what is in our rules and what is set, so it's like we both can't get away with any of the rules, okay. So because we two are completely together in all those roles, then it was always possible. Otherwise, like if she goes to some other place for 2 days, then for me it would not have been possible, right? I will be maybe with my cousins or somebody, and I will be, see, that was the age, teenage is the age we take things from other people as well, right? What they are following, maybe we will follow that as well, and also we will have a set of rules, right? So because only because we were 24 hours together, that was the main reason we were able to execute that. Even we felt like some of the things are like we should be productive all time in the day, expect except for the food and the prayer part. Otherwise we will be completely productive, we will not be listening to no songs and all those stuff. That is was not entertainment, that was one of the stupidity we have done. We would not even go for play or any, like 1 hour play break should be there, right? There was no 1 hour play break, nothing. Like evening 1 hour go for outside walk, nothing was there. Okay, so that was one of the worst part. But we do never, we both of them didn't realize it is a bad thing in our time schedule. Okay, so and what happened, like because we both were following that, we never had anything. Okay, I never felt that, oh, I am losing my entertainment day. I don't, like after all this, we never know what was the songs which are trending. People will be like in our school there will be like some kind of antakshari or something, we say like dumb charades or something, I don't know, some kind of plays and games, and they will be singing new songs, we don't know. Because we don't know, any kind of entertainment does not exist for us, right? So we were like, we are in our own nutshell, we were in a different world. Even though we are in with other people, we are in a different world, and we never realized it because that world had two people in that. It was not a single person. So yeah, that was the main reason we were able to hold on to that world for a lot of years, and be, but anyway it helped us in more being more productive, all those stuffs. We had achieved a lot of big dreams and good scores, all those stuffs. But just that we lacked, even because we never had that entertainment thing, right? Walking outside, all those stuffs, not spending time on sports and all. We had also developed a lot of mental issues, not in the mental issues, I mean depression related issues, frustration related issues. Like right now, whenever I lose something, like when I lose something, I might gain something, but when I lose something, I am not able to accept the loss. What I say is like, oh, I haven't used a single hour in my complete teenage to play itself, and now I'm losing this. I can't accept it. So this kind of a that is a bad psychological state, I'll say. So that all happens because I even feel that I have sacrificed something in my teenage, right? That sacrifice being my pleasure time, my fun time or something, that make me again think more on that, why had I done that, and now also I can't re-achieve that things, right, which I have lost. So this kind of a thing happens. So I will not suggest that for anybody. Like whoever is in their regression, that is a regression phase when we are up, when we are working for any competition or anything. But we should always spend 1 hour every single day for our things, like for being for relaxing. Maybe you can go for a spa or anything, or maybe you sit and watch sunset, or maybe you go to your beach, or see the hit the winds on your face, all those stuffs. You can do anything, but maybe you listen to songs or whatever, depending upon whatever you are interested. But you should have 1 hour set for those things every single day. That is very important for your mental health, obviously. It's very important.
I
Yeah.
absolutely agree, and I hope all the young audiences listening to this podcast follow that
Yes,
advice,
yes,
because the years that you spent while you had each other for accountability, they do
yes,
sound extremely grueling because you had to work hard. I mean, these are comparative examinations you're appearing for at the end of the day, and you have, lakhs of students sitting for this, right?
yes,
This changed for you when you and Ramsina both respectively got different IIT campuses. And
yes,
can
yes.
you give me like what was your early days
Yeah.
into this new campus? Having a like the nutshell no longer exists.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
then what happens?
So the twin energy is lost, right? So now I am a single alone. I can't say, I will say I am an ion or something. I was not even, I was not stable. Okay, I was an unstable molecule, I will say. So I was actually when just we had joined the college, there were a lot of people actually when we especially in IITs, when we enter to the college, right? We are freshers, and a lot of people will be coming to make friends with us. Okay, it happens. We no need to even put our own effort to make friends with others. They will be coming to us to make friends. So you will be getting a lot of friend requests in FB or somewhere, and you will be meeting a lot of people. I was exploring, like initially 1 2 months I was sitting for all the clubs. They will have very strict this the taking process, right? In onboarding process, like they will be having some interview type and all. I was completely preparing and going for like robotics. I got into that as well, robotics, everything whatever is possible. UBA, a lot of the social part of it, even technical part of it. Every clubs I was trying to join. I was making a lot of friends. I was also even there are we had this kind of events like I don't this treasure. There is this game, right? Treasure hunt, something like that. We had that treasure hunt for the complete campus. Okay, so I was for the first time in my life, I was trying out all those stuffs because when we were together, we never participated in any sports or anything, because that all were considered to be less productive because it was extracurricular. So now that the curriculum didn't start and there was this gap time, I was exploring everything. So that made me make a lot of friends, and when I made friends, I realized I understood a lot of different perspective, because I talk to different kind of people. People are from different states, and right, their culture, everything is different, their religion, culture, everything is different. So I talk to these people, spend a lot of time, even night outs with these people, a set of people. We were playing many games and we were talking to each other, that truth or dare or so many stuff. So I came to understanding that earlier my concept was that if I have a judgmental thing, I judge a person just based on some factor, and once they are not good according to my judgment, I just cut them out. So that was what I was doing from my early childhood. But now the thing has changed. Even if they will have a positive part of it, they will have a negative part. So most of the time, what I try is either they are, if they are very close to me, I will try to make them understand this negative part is not good. Let us make it more positive. Or if they are not that I can't tell them that way, then I will focus mainly on their positive part. I ignore the negative part, because after all, nobody's perfect. I came to understanding that when I talk to a lot of people, and I never found even I was not perfect. But earlier I was always thinking I was the perfect person to exist ever. Okay, so that time I also understood, okay, I am also not the most perfect person ever. I also have this kind of bad things. I have this kind of good things. So I made a lot of friends. So making a lot of friends made me open to a lot of culture, customs, practices, anything, whatever their knowledge, every sort of thing, and I got accustomed to that. So that's how I got away with the loneliness I was facing, because I was facing loneliness because Ramsey was not there with me, and Ramsey was in another world. She was struggling with her whole lot of things, and she never talked to me at all. Like 1 month she didn't talk to me. I don't know what happened. And that 1 month was a very huge socially, I was becoming a social being for the first time in my life. Okay, and that's being a social being helped me till now. Like even now when I go to a new office or anywhere, I can get easily accustomed to that, or I can be around them. I don't feel like, oh, I have to run away from here. I don't feel that anymore. So that 1 month was the learning period for me to be a better social being, and that made me that added a lot of values to me, in sense, for understanding humans in the way they are humans, not understanding them as to be robots in most of the. So these things has happened, and that was how I got away with the lack of that twin energy within me, but also being better for myself, like how to be self sufficient for me, and be having a single point of existence. Otherwise I never had that single existence thing. I was having that crisis, no. So I got away with that. That's how I got away with that.
I think had there were two very smart jokes that could come, like puns that could come from what you just shared. One was the robotics bit. You went to the robotics club or the society, and you were like, I no longer want to operate like a robot.
Yeah.
And I'll think of the other one soon. I'm
Yeah.
also curious to hear about, you had mentioned in our introductory chat that you were also the only, correct me if I'm wrong, but were you also the only Muslim woman in your batch when you entered
Uh,
IIT?
that time there were two people along with one more person was there. Like in boys, I think a couple of boys were there, but for girls, two people were there.
So how, like now that you entered this campus, which and your batch had about 1,300 students, am I correct?
Yes, yes, yes. It
Did
was.
you feel like suddenly, like was your sense of self highlighted more, considering that you were the only visible Muslim women?
Actually speaking, from my outfit, I was visible to be a Muslim, right? For me, like okay, I was always highlighted. Even though I feel that I feel highlighted everywhere I go. It's a part of how my I am keeping my identity, right? So if I go with my hijab, and I know like people haven't gone through like people haven't explored STEM much in earlier years with the hijab. So for me, like we can say it's the we are in the stepping stone of that, or maybe we are the first people who are going through that thing. So it's expected, so it was always expected. And yeah, I always I had that different eyes looking at me, like they were amazed or something. And sometimes I didn't know what they were looking what they felt. Basically, I don't know, I can't look into their mind and understand what is that. Sometimes when some people talk to me, I felt that they are not happy for being a Muslim woman at this point of time at this place. They were not happy. So only when they talked, I understood they were not happy with my identity. So this happened. And also we had this Muslim students association in the campus. So in that also, majority of them were only boys. Girls were very like countable people, maybe 10 or 15 something, all considering all PhD students, people from you understand it, second year, third year, all those stuff. So they were actually they gave us a kind of a inclusion, in the sense like we were like during Ramzan, all those stuffs, and we were having the Friday some activities. So all those stuffs we were not feeling allowed, like we had someone to be with, right? And even PhD ma'ams were very supportive and very like very kind. They took care of us like we were their kids. So all those stuff have happened. So but other than that, okay, I faced a negative thing as well and a positive thing as well. Positive thing in the sense, the seniors who were like amazed, the seniors who were actually ready to support us in this transition, right? And negative way, like people actually talk to me like how did you even get here, this kind of thing, like just like you saw in the Instagram reels, the comment section, right? Similar thing, like how did you even get it to here, like is it to be for you, like are you coming from SCST, like you know, like Muslims are either general people or are from OBC. I am from OBC. I got the seat, even though the higher rank that we should have for my electrical engineering, that batch is like around 2000. I was having a rank of around 4000, okay? And I got the seat based on my OBC rank, that is 683. And even though this 2000 to 4000, the mark difference may be like 5 or maximum 5 or 10 marks, it's not that big. The competition spirit we both have is not that different, like from general people. But just that because I'm wearing a hijab, and or maybe how I looked like, I don't know what was the reason. People even asked me like, are you from SCST, all these things. Because for SCST, the ranks that even you don't need to have a AIR rank, or maybe even if the AIR rank is around 17,000, you will get a seat in that particular batch. So it's a big difference, right? And even, but I will not say that they don't deserve it. They actually deserve it because they are coming from that background. It is very difficult for them to reach there, okay? But the thing is that when we come to the performance, when we review the performance of this 120 students, right? The general and OBC people will be performing very well, like out of the 120 students, maybe maximum 10 or 15 people will get to a CGPA above 8.5. And I was always the best performing within the 10 or 15 ranks. So it does not make it's not that an OBC child will not be performing good in that particular batch, okay? But just that but if you are an SC/ST student, they will struggle a lot. They will struggle a lot to make even a better CG. But even when I was getting a CGPA which is very decent, very good CGPA, and I was still the I don't want to specify the name or anything. I was asked this question, are you from SCST, by another student. Okay. And I don't know why should somebody ask that question to somebody else. That is also does not make sense, right? So these things has happened, and there were lot I'll specifically say there were lot of like I will say discrimination which happens basically for SCST children. They face a lot of discrimination in the campus, even when they don't speak about it. But for OBC people, we don't hear much because we are trying our best to perform the best, right? Because we already know that the seat that I got for this track is the seat actually maybe belong to a general guy, right? And because I got a reservation, I got this seat, so it's my responsibility that I should perform well and I should make maximum utilization of that seat. So I was always performing good, but that is not always possible for a SAST student. Okay. And they were facing a discrimination only because of that, and I don't think that is fair. I and if you count the maximum the suicide rates in the IIT campus, I will say this is has a lot to do with the discrimination that children are facing within the campus, not only from the students but also from the professors also judge students. We should completely make the campus gender neutral also as well. Recently, because during our time gender quota was not there, but after that gender quota also got added. So even girl students will be also facing discrimination on the base of that, because they will be told like you don't deserve the seat, a boy he deserved it, you got it because you are a female, all those stuffs, right? And that might affect them mentally, and they that might even affect their performance as well. So I will say this neutrality, right? Neutrality on the base of the caste or on the base of the gender should be done within the campus. There should be some kind of a reformation, something should happen. Otherwise this kind of suicide, all these things are pointing out to the fact that there is some kind of things which are missing within the regulatory board of that campus. Even though we don't have this ragging is not there, but that is speaking of which, ragging can be in different sense, right? The ragging that we are talking in any regular campus is not there in our IITs, but there are other things which are actually affecting the students mental state. So we need to look into that more deeper.
It is something which needs to be discussed and acknowledged, and there has to be a sense of action, a list of actions that need to be taken to ensure that kids don't feel, I say kids, but I mean
Yeah.
students at IITs don't feel discriminated.
Yeah.
And the way you are sharing this also takes me back to this point I would like to raise and discuss with you, is this invisible yet very clear sense of discrimination. Somebody will say something and they probably will just can say that, oh, we didn't mean to say it, we're just trying to like
Yes.
say it. That does more
Yes.
harm because you try to make someone else feel further discriminated,
Yes.
or you might want to never take the ownership of the fact that someone is being
Yes.
casteist, or someone is actually trying to
Yeah.
continue to create the hierarchies which already exist in the society.
Yes. Yes.
And you did mention in our chats once about that the microaggressions also came from some teachers or professors who would, for example, give a lecture in
Yes.
Hindi, and Hindi is not your first language. It's also not one of your dominant languages that you speak.
Yeah.
How did you overcome that? And when you look back, what do you think more can be done, because such cases might be continuing in the IIT campuses, right?
Yes. Yeah. So actually speaking, that till that point of time, it was my first semester only, right? First semester, that was the course in the first semester. And till that point of time, I was expecting that IIT professors are going to be very very supportive for us. They will take actions when we are facing some issues, and which are genuine issues. So I was always expecting them to be very supportive. But once this thing happened, and I that's why I was expecting some kind of good response from him. That's why in front of the 120 students, I raised my hand, said to sir that I am not understanding Hindi, can you please teach in English? But then he asked to all other students like, okay, now all people you raise hands who are okay with Hindi. At majority of the class, I think maybe one or I think all of the students raise their hands that they are all comfortable with Hindi. Maybe I even don't know, because in I think during that time in JE advanced they even allow the Hindi medium Hindi papers as well. I am not aware of that. I gave in English only. And even the curriculum is, it is supposed to be in English only, like how they teach everything, the medium is to be in English. But still the professor, I understood that he's more comfortable with Hindi teaching. He has been doing that for years. Another thing is, he understood that children are expecting to teach him in Hindi, because children already raised their hands that they're comfortable with Hindi, right? So maybe that was the, I am not completely sure, but what I understood is that how to overcome this thing. What I understood is that from that point of time, I never expected any support from the professors. I have done that was a introduction to, I'll say it was an introduction course for computer programming. From that point of time, for that course as well, I didn't understand a single word that he has taught, because that time I never know how they are speaking Hindi very fluently, right? And I don't understand any single word at that point of time. They are talking in their native tongue, and how can I understand that? And I just come out of Kerala, nobody talks Hindi, never they talk about in Hindi. So it was the thing for me. And what I understood is, I had to set up my self study procedure from that computer programming course to till today. I am a software engineer, because that is the stepping stone for me. That was a self study that I has done. I had to go through most of the books which are present in the library to understand what is C++, because I was not having any computer science fundamentals that time, because I done PCMB, I told you, right, in my 12th. So there was no computer science before that. And so that's why I had to always do self study. For me, I had to, like, if I had to go score good, go get better grades, I have to put my effort. So I will always put my effort. I never expected anything from my professor from that point of time till now anymore, anywhere, any course. Even after that, I also saw the courses which are tougher, but the teachers were talking in English only, but I could not follow them. So I will always go for my self study pattern, and it was always helping me far better than my professors, I'll say. Because I consider that even though the professors at IITs are very good at research, but they are not that good at teaching in any sense. Maybe I don't know this Hindi professor, because he was talking in Hindi, so I could not judge him. Okay, so this is what happened. But I see, I believe in my efforts, and that's why how today I am here, right? How could an electrical engineering graduate become a software engineer too at a 2.5 years of experience? It is only because I have put my effort. It was, I can definitely say, there was no professor who has helped me reach this today. Okay, everything was my my only effort, and I'm okay with it. Okay, but I should not be okay with it. I should be fighting against it. That is what I should be doing. But what I say is, even students can be there, like South Indian students who go to any North Indian IIT campus, maybe they might face this issue most of the time. Basically, South Indian, I will say, Tamil and Malayalam students have more difficulty with Hindi. That is what I understood. So but for these students, what I'm saying, they should not, even if you start fighting today, maybe your this semester that is not going to change, but you have to give the exam at the end of the semester, right? So you can't just blame your professor and sit there and say, okay, I'm not going to pass in this exam. No, you can't say that. If the system is that way, if nobody has taken an action against him for speaking in English, and that is not your responsibility right now. Right now, what your responsibility, you should not get a backlog. Okay, that is your responsibility. You should sit, understand what is the course about, and go and check into the library, take the books, do self study, and get better marks and pass with a good grade. That is how you can fight against it right now from your point, and leave the rest to the authorities. Maybe you can put a complaint like, this is the thing happening, authorities should take care of, do some action against it. Other than that, you should not be having your flags and fighting outside. You should not be doing that. That is not what you should be doing at this point of time. So yeah, that is my message to the people. Otherwise, I am not okay with what has happened to me.
What you share, and I can understand how much grit that takes to know that despite sitting in one of the most considered, the most prestigious institutes, you still have to rely on your self study.
Yes.
A lot of times that can become like sort of your crucible, that this is how you are going to continue doing whatever you want to do. You know, when you want to prepare for interviews, when you want to climb the, like you are currently working in the corporate setup, climb the corporate ladder, you will always count yourself
Yes.
first. You will always rely on
Yes.
yourself. And I immensely appreciate that. I think that again, that shows immense amounts of grit. At the same time, I also know and I feel this that the job, everyone needs to do their job.
Yes.
In an ideal system, in an ideal scenario, we want our teachers to do their jobs, we want the systems and the authorities to do their jobs, and we want the students to do their jobs. But in your case, and perhaps for other students like who are not primary Hindi speakers, they are doing the jobs of their teachers as
Yes,
well,
yes, correct. Yes.
which, I mean, we all have finite sources of energy, finite sources of attention, and possibility of how much we can do.
Yeah.
We end up taking giving spending energies and resources on things that potentially are not our jobs.
Yes.
And while you have given all these present students who might be listening away that do your bit, and tell the authorities, write letters to them. I'm also, I just want whoever is listening to this also to feel that, and also remember that your job is just to be a good student if you want to be
Yes.
at that institute.
Yes. Yes.
So you are doing your job, you're also trying to do the job which your professor or teacher should be doing, and that's a lot.
Yes, there is a contradiction there, right? Like we are trying to be the best student, but for that we have to also put in the effort the teacher must be putting. That is happening, and even this, what happens now? Because I always counted on me from that point of time till now. What happens is now I am not even okay to ask questions. You
Exactly.
understand? Because the asking questions thing is stopped for me because I don't expect even when some requirements come to me from my manager. I don't ask him questions because I think I will figure out it myself. It's my responsibility, it's his responsibility. But I don't consider that anymore because that is how that negatively affected who I am today, right? Even now I am not even though my manager is one of the best guy, he is very best supporting. If I ask him questions, he's ready, he's eagerly waiting for his questions. He's okay, you tell me this, I am ready to implement that for you. But I am not. I don't. My questions are blank now. Like I don't ask questions to anybody anymore. I sit myself in a corner, figure out everything. So that is a bad happen thing happened to me. And this also, even you told right, the attention, how much of the energy that we can put, right? For how much of the effort we can put, we are putting the effort of the other people as well because we stopped asking questions, right? So this happened, and we had to put a lot of effort for the minimal thing because we are putting the effort of others. So that is not a good thing that should happen to us. So better try to make the situation more better for you by, maybe if it is possible, if it is not possible, then I don't know, maybe if it's possible we should try to get the people who are concerned to do their work, and we only will do our work. We are not going to increase our bandwidth for other people's work. So yeah, that
Yeah.
is important.
I think I hope that people listening to this conversation can draw that clarity
Yes.
and implement that in their own way. You said something very important, that you end up thinking that everything depends on you, that if you need to just make sure that you get the best grades, you get the best job,
Yeah.
you keep on climbing the ranks,
Mm.
and in the midst of it you forget that whenever you're working in a system, it's always interdependent.
Yes. Yes.
You are relying on your manager, the manager is relying on you, and that is how you can recognize how this interdependency plays
Yes.
into really achieving those collective
Yes.
goals, whether it's a corporate goal or whether it's an institution's goal, that they want to have
Yeah.
some of the brightest minds get the kind of jobs and support the country.
Mm.
You mentioned that the way that people looked at you, they would like ask you questions which were,
Yeah. Yeah.
one, they
Yeah.
disrespected your position in the college, in the class. I'm curious to know that in terms of coming from this background, like, did you find other students who might have also been from the OBC
Mm.
background, and was there a sense of community that could be developed there that you had?
No, no, we didn't have any because see, we are like, it is not even like nobody know publicly who is OBC and all, right? It's only like if some people who are very casteist and they want to point fingers on you are this, you are that, all those stuffs. Otherwise openly we don't talk about any caste or anything, right? So there was no community which is going to be built out of obedience or any stuff. And even it was not even see, if a set of students are performing very bad, right, they are not able to perform well in the class, we can say okay, they are maybe they are coming from very underprivileged situation and they are not able to make it. But in our case most of the obc students are performing very good, as good as the general students. So obc and general there is no much gap. I told you, right, within in terms of rank also, in terms of marks also, there is no much gap. So even so there was no any kind of any separate thing for obc students or those such.
And the other thing which I am I often come across, and this is a conversation that I think I have with a lot of other, people who come with the Muslim identity, and are from India.
Mhm.
Even within this understanding of the Muslim identity, there is a lack of conversation of understanding the way that how, like, the distinction between OBC Muslims, and like the fact that there is this
Yeah.
segment of the society that has and needs to be given the right kind of affirmative
Yes,
action.
yes.
And oftentimes there is this sense of, like, if you have the Muslim identity, it's considered to be like there's this one definition.
Yes.
And within the Muslims as well, there are so many
Yes, yes.
segments. Because you had a Muslim, like a sort of society, should I
Yes,
say,
yes.
that you had Muslim students?
Yeah.
Yeah. Were there conversations around this, like the OBC identity as
I'll
well?
tell you. Actually speaking, what I understood is, actually there is this Mapala community from Kerala. So most of the Kerala Muslims are OBC because all of them are Mapla. Okay. Other than so, and that's why speaking of which, we should be giving. We should understand that they are more of a underprivileged Muslim community. Other than that, most of the North Indians which I have seen, Muslim North Indians, most of them are coming from general. I mean, they are not OBCs because
Yeah.
they have very good legacy. They are having very. They were not at all. We can't say they are. Underprivileged or they are not coming from a minority category or something. So even within our muslim association, right, there also the muslims from kerala who comes to iit is very less, you see. So within this muslim association, most of them were north indian muslims, which are not, we are, they are general people, they are especially they are like these pathans, all those terms, right, khans or all those these things, whatever, I don't know. So all these peoples are coming from not from obc, so they are not, so there is not talk about, maybe I don't know any other obc muslim uh, girl or boy who was in the muslim association and who were no, who were obc other than me. I don't know anybody. Even they are, most of the time they didn't even consider that I was an obc girl, obc person, because they are not even aware of all the mapla community in kerala, all those things, right? So this happens. And I don't know, specifically in some regions muslims are minority, uh, they are backward caste, but in majority in north india they are very less, right? That is what I understood. So there was no much of a uh, we can't see those different people in the muslim association itself as well. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
And I can completely understand, when you say this, that the Muslim identity kind of becomes the main identity that one talks
Yes,
about.
yes.
And the distinctions, and like you said, like the Mapila Muslims, and
Yeah.
the experiences you have, the kind of the disparity in opportunities and privileges that even within the Muslim community there
Yes,
exist,
yes.
is not discussed. And then by virtue of not being discussed, it's not being
Yes,
understood,
yes, correct.
that to the extent it needs to
Yes,
be,
yes.
especially within the larger sort of Indian Muslim identity space that we all hold.
Yeah, even like in the case of disparity we are talking about, right? The Muslim community, for example, even in the case of girls' education itself, even in North Indian Muslims, like I married a Muslim guy from the north. He's a general guy, not an OBC. His family, the girls are already very highly educated. They have done their post graduation, all these stuff. But if you talk about my family girls, very extended family, there is not a single girl who is even graduated, right, other than my sister and us. There is not a girls who is graduated itself. So even in terms of education itself, there is a lot of disparity when we talk about the Muslim community in different part of the country as well. So yeah, that is one thing I wanted to add it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Risana. I think that's really important and critical to be discussed.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm grateful to you that you've been so open and so honest
yeah,
about giving that experience and offering that to this space.
yeah,
I have one final question for you, and that is, you did mention that there is this sexism even today, sometimes you can say on borderline Islamophobia, but largely sexism that existed in your previous work institution. And you struggled with managing the way people looked at you and thought the kind of contribution you make
mm-hmm.
to that workspace. And there was always this microaggression again. As a professional, as a person who's working in the corporate sector even now, what kind of changes or what kind of policies do you recommend that specifically the corporate sector in India needs to have to accommodate for inclusivity of not just representation but also
Yes,
voices?
yes. Yeah, the main thing is gender neutrality itself. Like we should not be talking in terms of gender at any point of time. Even within the office space or anywhere, we should be only talking in terms of the tasks that we do, right? The challenges we take up, the results that we deliver, all those stuffs. We other than that, all the potential that we have for this particular role, for this particular company, all those stuffs, or maybe the revenue we make, whatever we can say. But we should not be talking in terms of gender anything. That is what I am saying. In terms of gender, we should be having a gender neutrality. That will actually, even though there are we have this posh and all this, right, posh awareness training, all those stuffs are there. So anti-harassment training, all those things are there. People are already aware of what they should not be doing, what they should not be talking, right? When you are talking to a male colleague or a female, not only for females, these are for males as well. When we are talking about to any male or female, whatever colleague it is, we should not be talking the things which does not matter to the workspace, right? People should be very aware what they are putting out into the world, right? Any single sentence they are speaking, before they speak, they should think about it, and they should think whether they can hurt people. And other thing is we should always, when we are going to the workspace, right, we should be only talking about the productivity and all those stuffs, right? How we are trying to deliver the things that is planned, all those things, what are the backlogs, all these stuffs, what is the technical challenge which is going to be involved in this particular project, or all those things stuffs. Instead of just saying, okay, you are a girl, maybe you will not be able to complete that, all this kind of fun lame jokes, all these things, right? That should not be part of the workspace at all. So that is my my understanding.
So when you say gender neutrality, you mean basically there shouldn't be an expectation that a woman can do something and cannot do something
Yes,
else.
not only that, like for example, even suppose that a woman is putting extra time, maybe she is working after office hours, maybe nobody should come and say, okay, you are a girl, you should go home. No, why should you say you are a girl? Like, that is what I am saying. Like gender neutrality in the sense, people should never expect, maybe okay, if I want to take the privilege of a woman, I can do that, right? There are so lot of things that I can do considering I am going to take the privilege, but I don't want to take the privilege. That is what I'm saying. Gender neutrality in the sense, people should not be expecting something on the base of their gender. Okay, maternity leave, all those stuffs are there. Talking about the what can happen within the micro level within our office space, I should not be expecting anything in terms of because I am a girl. Also, people should not be telling me something because you are a girl. So you understand, it's a give and take thing. That's why I'm telling you, irrespective of you are a girl or you are a boy, you should not consider that gender thing when it comes to workspace. Then it can get better. Otherwise, if we are always sitting here, sitting and saying I want some kind of extra privilege because I am a girl, other than the legal privileges, uh, I'm expecting, means you can never expect to be having a gender neutral workspace. That is not possible. So
I think when you say that, my first thinking around it is also that the system also needs to eliminate the way it is designed based on gender.
yes.
that certain jobs are meant to be for women and certain jobs are meant to be for men. Or Ramsina said this, and I agreed with her because it's an experience I think we all have. Is why it like in school you said, oh, girls should take medical and boys should
Yeah,
take
yeah,
engineering.
happens. Yeah,
You kind of create, like in your imagination, these sectors or these disciplines are like, oh, boys become engineers and girls become doctors. Like, so if the system prevails like that, like if the micro conversations are also that at the back of your mind, you might say, I am, everyone should get equal rights, but at the back of your mind you're like, no, but girls get this and boys get that.
yeah, yeah. Then
I think that then the gender neutrality bit does not achieve its
yes,
purpose.
yes, correct. Yes, absolutely. Even within the corporate also these things happen. For example, if we look into the human resource department, right? Girls will be given more opportunity there. Even girls will be like, okay, whenever a girl comes to the office, people will be expecting, oh, you are joining an HR department. This happens. Okay, this even happens today, and I am very shameful to say that because see, this is the kind of perception we even created within the corporate itself. Like, even if you are a girl, got into corporate, that's fine. Now if you are a girl, you maybe you belong to the HR space. So this kind of, even that kind of a conversation happens because we are not ready to make the system change, right?
Yeah, so the system and our mindsets
Yeah.
both need to
Yes,
change
come.
effectively. And I'm glad and I'm very hopeful that conversations and minds like you in every space you enter
Hmm.
can make that dent,
Yeah.
that both sides understand the value and the contribution that women bring, regardless of where they choose to bring it
Yes,
to.
yes, correct. Absolutely.
So, thank you so much, Risana. This has been an amazing conversation. I am really grateful to you for sharing the experiences and bringing your wisdom to this conversation. And like I said to Ramsina, I hope to see you both at some time in person.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much, Mariam, for this opportunity as well. Yeah, we will meet soon.
Thank you. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, please review us or give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to them. You can learn more about Risana's journey through her Instagram, and the link is available on MBM's website. You can also listen to other MBM conversations with writers like Annie Zedi, Fazala Jamil, and footballers Madina B and Fatima Sheikh, among others, who expand the understanding of being an Indian, a Muslim, and everything in between. I'm Mariam Heather. Thank you for listening to Maybe Muslim. I will be back with another episode in a few weeks. Until then, take care, lots of love and gratitude.